Hi everyone, this is TOJ. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the second video that I have for you on compression in house music. I'll be taking a little bit more of an advanced look at the compressor. Also, I'll be running through the controls of the compressor and just showing you what they do with an instrument running. Alright, let's get started. So I've loaded a snare drum just up here into my MIDI track. Okay. Now here's my compressor, okay, just down here to the right hand side of my simpler, which is the drum instrument. Okay, now I'll just push the threshold all the way up. Alright, now if I press play, the gain reduction isn't working. So the compressor's essentially not doing anything. Now if I grab the threshold and I pull it down, you'll see on the right hand side the gain reduction will start triggering. There she is. Alright, if I keep pulling all the way down, now I've got full threshold and I've got a fair bit of gain reduction, minus about 26 to be exact. That's a lot of gain reduction. Obviously we don't want to use that much, so I'm going to push the threshold back up and try and find that sweet spot. Pull it back down again, ooh, back up again. Okay, around about there, about -6, what I've always said. Now, it's at -28 dB, alright? Now the threshold defines the level at which gain reduction starts. In other words, it makes it work. Like I said in the previous video, just pull the threshold down as your first matter of business, and you'll see the gain reduction trigger, and that means that it's actually working, okay? Now the second thing I'm going to do is play around with the ratio, which is underneath the threshold, alright? Ratio is sort of compared to gravity. It affects the extent to which objects are pulled towards the ground. It's quite a technical thing, ratio, but like I said, I always work between 2.1 and around about 6.1. So I've got the threshold in the sweet spot where it's sounding pretty good to my ears. The instrument's got a nice attack, it's sounding crispy, it's sounding punchy. Now if I push the ratio up, the gain reduction is going down as we're getting more and more gain reduction. If I push it all the way to infinite, that's full ratio. Now we've got a bit of distortion, it sounds a little bit rubbish, so if we pull it back, try and find a sweet spot. Alright, sounds pretty good there. I might just push the threshold up a bit, pull it back down. So the threshold's come down to -25.4 dB. My ratio is at 3.76. Alright, like I said in the other video, my knee's on hard because it's a snare, and snares always sound good with lots of compression and a nice attack. Alrighty, the second thing I'm going to look at is the attack and release. Now, they're very similar, but the attack determines how fast the gain reduction will rise. Release determines how fast the gain reduction will fall. Alright, so once again, it's pretty technical, but just play around with it until you get a nice sound, until you think it sounds the way you want it to. Alright, so if I push the gain reduction up and to the right, I'm losing my gain reduction, it's gone. Alright, so it's not doing anything. So if I pull it back, you'll slowly start to see the gain reduction. There it is. Pull it forward, and if I pull it down to 0.1 milliseconds, too much. Okay, we've lost the attack, it just doesn't sound very good. So we'll try and find that sweet spot. Alright, keep going. Run about 2 will do, 2 milliseconds. So that's the sweet spot. Alright, now the release, same thing. So we'll push it up, and I'll show you on the right hand side, the gain reduction is now sticking. It's really sitting low. Okay, and it's really staying there. Obviously it's the release, so it's just hanging on to every part of the audio or the wave file. Alright, and when I pull it back, it'll get quicker. Therefore give you that more punchy effect. Alright, I'll push it back up. About 16.4, that sounds pretty good to me. Alright, now over here on your right, like I said, you've got the output, so if it's, as you can see up here on the right hand side, it's sort of starting to redline. We want to give it a bit of space so that when we're in the mixing stage we can pull it up, down and just play around with it. So if we pull it down, There we go. Alright, now that's the basic controls of the compressor. Compression is very technical. I still can't get my head around it sometimes. I've got to read my notes and look at some of the books, look at some tutorials online. It is a very complicated thing, but if you follow these steps, you should get a nice compression on your instruments and get a nice attack and a nice crispy, punchy sound. Alright, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also follow me on Twitter and Facebook. I'd love to hear what you think of the videos. If there's any questions you want to ask me, be sure to drop me a line and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Alright, thanks guys. I'll see you for another video soon. Cheers.